Okay, you guys, so my iPhone storage was full because I was still recording this video of what was Pearl Harbor, so let's get back. I already said that the US losses, however, were staggering. So let's continue. So more than 2,400 Americans were killed. Almost 1,200 were wounded. The US Pacific Fleet had been shattered. 21 vessels were sunk or damaged, including all 8 of the great battleships at Pearl Harbor. Out of nearly 400 aircraft on the island, only 71 were left unharmed. Oh dear, oh dear. The Japanese had kept Yamamoto's promise. They had dealt a crushing blow to the U.S. Pacific force. Pearl Harbor lay in smoking ruins. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Chapter 8. Bravery Against All Odds. In the middle of an attack, we have 2 more chapters left until this book is done. Countless American sailors and soldiers fought back as best as they could. Crews who got to their battle stations remained fighting until the very last minute. Commander Casson Young was in charge of a repair ship named the Vestal when the first bombs hit. Young dashed to the bridge and started firing one of the big guns. Even though he was blown overboard, Young managed to swim back to his ship. Fires were burning on board. Intense heat and flames blasted from the Arizona parked alongside the Vestal, and more bombs were still dropping. But Young and his men succeeded in moving their ship away from the Arizona and beaching it so it wouldn't sink. That's right. Split-second decisions had to be made in the rage of battle. Dory Miller, a Navy cook on the West Virginia, ended up on the ship's bridge beside an anti-aircraft gun. Dory Miller, a Navy cook on the West Virginia, ended up on the ship's bridge beside Dory Miller, a Navy cook on the West Virginia, ended up on the ship's bridge beside an anti-aircraft gun. It was a powerful weapon built to return enemy fire. Miller had not been trained to use the huge gunner. He was African American. Shamefully, at that time, African Americans were not trained for combat. Miller grabbed the gun anyway, pulled the trigger, and started firing at enemy planes. Yeah! Like my Lightning McQueen voice. I love Lightning McQueen. The quick action of men like Miller surprised the Japanese. From the air, Commander Fuchida was startled to see gunfire return from U.S. battleships less than 5 minutes after the first bomb had fallen. A sailor named Carl Carson, who had escaped from the Arizona, passed out as he swam to shore in the burning water. Another sailor rescued him, but Carson refused to sit on shore and recover. Instead, he answered a bugler's call for help on the Tennessee. He went to that ship's battle station, which was located at the same place on the Tennessee as it was on the Arizona. At the air bases, U.S. soldiers reacted swiftly, too. They were unable to use the anti-aircraft guns because of the ammunition had been locked away for protection. So they fought back with whatever weapons they could find. Some entered the smoking cockpits of damaged planes, ripped out the machine guns, and started firing them at the enemy in the sky. One soldier was able to down a low-flying Japanese plane using a rifle. Yeah. At Kaneohe Airfield, Airman John Finn broke
into an ammunition truck and passed out machine guns and rifles to other soldiers. Finn started firing a machine gun from a training platform in the middle of the field. Zero stuff low to the ground, gunning for him. But Finn wouldn't budge. Even while wounded, he kept fighting back. Our hangars were burning. Our planes were exploding where they sat. And men were dying. No. Finn recalled later. I was so mad I didn't have the time to be afraid. Yeah. And we got one more chapter left, you guys. Yeah. Got a cool Lightning McQueen voice because I love Lightning McQueen. Yeah.
Chapter 9, Coming to the Rescue. The destroyed planes meant that almost all of the American pilots were grounded, even though grounded threats don't work, as one of my friends said, such as Acer plays RBLX, which stands for Roblox, even though I don't have Roblox. But young pilots, George Welch and Kenneth Taylor, fought their way into the sky. The two were friends. When the first bombs hit, Welch and Taylor were talking about going for a swim. I love swimming. They had been out all night dancing and playing cards. Suddenly, they heard a blast. Seconds later, Zero zoomed overhead. They both saw the rising sun under the wings. In Taylor's car, they tore off to Halewa Airfield. The Japanese had not reached it yet. At the airfield, the pilots wasted no time. They jumped inside their cockpits and soared off, straight into a bus of enemy planes. They were still in tuxedos. Welch and Taylor were vastly outnumbered. But for an hour and a half, they chased Japanese planes in the sky, diving and swooping to avoid hits or to get a better aim. At one point, Welch rescued his buddy Taylor, who was being fired on by an enemy plane at his trail. Twice the young pilots landed to refuel and rearm. Twice they flew back into the battle. American soldiers on the ground cheered at the sight of aircraft with the U.S. flag. American soldiers on the ground cheered at the sight of aircraft with the U.S. flag. It was one of the few things to cheer about that morning. Taylor and Welch returned safely to the base. They are believed to have shot down 7 enemy planes, about 1/4 of all Japanese planes downed that day. Yeah, that's right. Let's go there. While some brave men were fighting back, others worked to save the lives of wounded Americans. Rescue boats threaded their way about the burning harbor to pull half dead victims from the water. Yeah, that's right. That's right indeed. Bullets from strafing Japanese planes did not stop them. On the Arizona, sailor John Anderson was knocked out cold when his ship exploded. As soon as he came to, he helped lower wounded mates into a lifeboat. That's not good after all. Yeah, not good after all. Once on shore, Anderson did not want to stay where it was safe. He found a boat and rescued men in the harbor. Hey, that's right. Hey. Who were severely burned in black with oil. Bernard is cool. Yes, sorry, I'm not talking about that. On shore, citizens helped military, doctors, and nurses with the wounded. The work went on for days. Got one more chapter left. The makeshift hospitals sprung up across the island on Laws.
in barracks, in schools, even in airplane hangars.
Every table in the mess hall had a man on it, said one sailor. In one school, doctors operated on tables in the cafeteria. As night fell on December 7th,
Thick smoke covered the harbor. A sense of shock gripped the island. Mrs. Early, Admiral Kimmel's neighbor, summed up the feeling. Even as